A country with fewer people than many American suburbs controls an ocean territory larger than several U.S. states combined. That is Palau. And the most surprising thing about this nation is not that it has hundreds of islands, shark-filled reefs, or a lake where golden jellyfish drift around swimmers. It is that Palau has built part of its identity around one dangerous word: enough. Enough fishing in one reef. Enough damage from one visitor. Enough profit if the price is losing the very thing that created the profit in the first place. Many governments act only after environmental damage becomes impossible to ignore. Palau has spent generations asking a harder question. Can a society stop itself before the damage becomes obvious? To understand why that question matters here, you first have to stop thinking of Palau as a group of islands. Palau is an ocean country with a few pieces of land rising above it. Located in the Western Pacific, southeast of the Philippines, and southwest of Guam, the Republic of Palau has about 189 square miles of land. But its exclusive economic zone extends across more than 237,000 square miles of sea. On a normal world map, the land looks tiny. The water is almost invisible because maps teach us to focus on coastlines. But for Palau, the water is the country. It carries food, it carries people, it carries history, trade, weather, risk, and memory. What I find most revealing is that Palau's real size cannot be understood by measuring only the ground beneath people's feet. Its national life extends through channels, lagoons, reefs, fishing grounds, shipping routes, and deep ocean. That enormous marine world surrounds about 340 islands, islets, and atolls. Only a small number are permanently inhabited. Some are volcanic. Others are limestone or low coral formations resting only a few feet above the Pacific. They look peaceful now, but they were not created gently. Palau sits in a region shaped by tectonic movement and volcanic activity. Millions of years ago, volcanic foundations rose from the sea. Coral grew around and over them. Later, parts of those reefs were lifted above the surface. Rain dissolved the limestone. Waves cut into the coast. Tides carved away the lower edges. The result is one of the most recognizable landscapes in the Pacific. South of Babel Daub, hundreds of steep, forest-covered limestone islands rise from a protected lagoon. Their lower edges have been narrowed by erosion, while their tops remain broad and green. From a distance, they resemble giant mushrooms floating on blue water. These are the Rock Islands. The UNESCO-listed Rock Island Southern Lagoon covers 200 hectares and contains 445 coralline limestone islands. Between them, boats pass through channels that feel less like open sea and more like corridors. The water changes color constantly. Pale turquoise over sand, emerald near vegetation, dark blue where the bottom suddenly falls away. Some bays cannot be seen until a boat turns into them. Some beaches appear only when the tide retreats. At Long Beach, a ribbon of white sand rises between two bodies of water, remains exposed for a short time, then disappears beneath the returning tide. It is beautiful, but it also teaches the first lesson of Palau. Nothing here is as permanent as it looks. The islands are still being shaped. The beaches move. The reefs grow slowly, break, recover, and sometimes fail to recover. The coastline is not a fixed border. It is an ongoing negotiation between rock and water. Below the surface, that negotiation becomes even more dramatic. At Blue Corner, strong currents move along the outer edge of the reef. Divers sometimes attach reef hooks so they can remain in one place without being carried away. Then, the ocean begins to reveal its traffic. Schools of fish gather in the moving water. Gray reef sharks glide past. Larger predators patrol the edge. The current delivers oxygen, nutrients, and prey, turning one section of reef into a meeting point for an entire food web. Nothing is waiting for the camera. The sharks are there because the system is working. A reef may look like a collection of colorful animals, but it is actually a network of relationships. Remove enough predators, damage enough coral, or alter the surrounding conditions, and the beauty remains only for a while. Not far away, the water changes again. In a sheltered lagoon known as the Milky Way, fine white limestone sediment turns the water cloudy, turquoise. Visitors cover their skin with the soft mud, often treating the place like a natural spa. But even that pale sediment is part of a much older story. It is the product of rock, slowly broken down by water and time. Then there is Jellyfish Lake. To reach it, visitors cross a forested ridge and enter a marine lake cut off from the open ocean. Golden jellyfish move through the water in large numbers, following sunlight across the lake. Contrary to a popular myth, they still have stinging cells. But the sting is so mild that humans are unlikely to feel it. The experience can seem unreal. A human body suspended inside a living golden cloud. But this is where the fantasy becomes dangerous. The jellyfish population has not remained constant. It has declined sharply during periods of environmental stress and later recovered. Temperature, rainfall, salinity, and changes inside the lake can all affect the population. A place can appear full of life and still be vulnerable. I think this is one of the most important truths in the entire story. Nature does not always send a dramatic warning before a system is in trouble. Sometimes the water is still blue. The tourists are still smiling. The damage is simply happening faster than recovery. Travel north, and Palau changes again. Babeldaob is the country's largest island. It has volcanic hills, rivers, dense forest, and long roads passing through landscapes that feel almost empty. Ngerdmau waterfall drops through the interior, while Lake Ngardok forms the nation's largest natural freshwater lake. Palau's capital, Ngarulmud, is also here. Yet Babeldaob rarely feels urban. Houses appear between large areas of vegetation. Settlements are separated by forest. Traditional meeting houses, known as bai, still stand in some communities with steep roofs and painted wooden beams. Farther north is Kayangel. Here, the high volcanic land disappears. The island becomes a narrow coral atoll with white sand, coconut palms, shallow water, and almost no distance between daily life and the ocean. From the air, it looks like escape. On the ground, it feels more like exposure. A stronger wind can delay a boat. Rough water can interrupt food deliveries. A storm forming far beyond the horizon can change the next several days. That is why weather in Palau is not background scenery. It is part of the schedule. At sunrise in Koror, engines turn over at the docks. Fishermen check fuel and ropes. Tour operators load tanks. Parents bring children to school. Markets prepare fish, rice, fruit, and imported goods. Koror is the country's busiest center. But leave the main road for a few minutes and the noise fades. Buildings thin out. Forest moves closer. The sea appears between houses. On the outer islands, life depends even more directly on wind, tide, and distance. A delivery may wait. A fishing trip may end early. A family visit may be postponed. This is not freedom from nature. It is constant negotiation with nature. And that negotiation changes people. They learn to watch clouds because clouds affect boats. They listen to wind because wind affects food, travel, work, and safety. Neighbors help pull vessels ashore. Families share supplies when shipments arrive late. Distance makes self-reliance valuable. It also makes cooperation unavoidable. As evening settles over Koror, boats return and lights appear along the waterfront. Farther away, darkness arrives with fewer engines and fewer streetlights. The sound of waves becomes louder because almost everything else becomes quiet. It is easy to call this paradise, but paradise is the wrong word. Paradise suggests beauty without cost. Palau's beauty comes with expensive imports, limited land, difficult transport, economic dependence, and the responsibility of protecting an ocean far larger than the population available to watch it. So the real question is not why Palau is beautiful. The real question is how a small society learned to place limits on itself before the sea was emptied. And the answer begins not with satellites, patrol ships, or modern environmental law. It begins in the villages, inside family lines, beneath the painted roof of the bai, and within an old command powerful enough to close part of the ocean without offense. That command is called Bull. But before understanding why it works, you have to understand the kind of society that created it. In Palau, power does not always sit where outsiders expect to find it. A male chief may speak publicly for a clan or community. Yet Palauan society is traditionally matrilineal. Clan identity, land rights, and important titles have long been connected to the mother's line. Within traditional clan governance, female title holders help select the men who serve as chiefs. They can also dismiss a chief who is no longer considered worthy. To me, this changes the meaning of leadership. Authority is not always the person standing in front of the room. Sometimes authority belongs to the person who decides who is allowed to stand there. That idea becomes visible in the bai, the traditional meeting house found at the center of village life. A bai is raised from wood, covered with painted or carved images, and built to hold more than meetings. Its beams preserve stories about migration, conflict, duty, status, bad behavior, and the consequences of failed leadership. From a distance, the artwork can look decorative. Up close, it functions like a public memory. Before laws were stored in digital files, knowledge was carried in buildings, repeated stories, and the people trusted to interpret them. That matters on an island because mistakes are difficult to isolate. In a large country, damage may occur far away from the people who caused it. In a small community, an overfished reef, a broken agreement, or an unreliable leader affects people you see at the market, at a funeral, or at a family gathering. Community is not just a warm cultural idea here, it is infrastructure. Same is true of Palau's economy. Palau has hotels, restaurants, shops, fuel stations, tour companies, and modern communications. But nearly every imported object carries the cost of distance. A bag of rice, a replacement engine part, or a load of cement may travel thousands of miles before reaching a shelf. The price also includes freight, fuel, limited cargo space, changing weather, and the possibility that the next shipment may be delayed. Distance looks beautiful from an airplane window. It feels different when a family is waiting for medicine. A mechanic is waiting for a part. Or a construction crew cannot continue because material missed the last ship. Tourism brings another form of dependence. Visitors come for sharks, coral walls, clear lagoons, and the rock islands. Spending supports hotels, guides, boat operators, restaurants, shops, and households connected indirectly to those businesses. But tourism is income built on movement. When flights stop, visitors disappear quickly. The reef remains. The hotel remains. The boats remain. The money moving through them can vanish almost overnight. The pandemic made that weakness impossible to ignore across island economies. A country may protect a destination for decades and still have little control over the airlines, foreign markets, economic shocks, or health crises that determine whether tourists arrive. Palau's compact of free association with the United States creates opportunity. But it also adds another layer to the country's population challenge. Eligible Palauan citizens can enter the United States without a visa and live, work, or study there for an unlimited period. For an individual family, this can be life-changing. A student can pursue a degree abroad. A nurse can earn more. A technician can enter a labor market far larger than anything available at home. But every opportunity contains a quiet national cost. If enough teachers, engineers, health workers, mechanics, and future leaders remain abroad, the country loses exactly the skills a small island economy struggles to replace. Limited opportunities encourage people to leave. Their departure makes it harder to expand the opportunities that might have persuaded them to return. Still, Palau functions every day through systems that rarely appear in travel videos. Picture a package sent from Manila to a family on Kayangel. It first arrives by air on Babel Daob. Then it moves by road through the island's interior, crosses the bridge into Koror, and reaches a warehouse near the commercial center. If the final address is nearby, a truck may complete the delivery. But there is no road to Kayangel. The package must wait again. It sits beside food, fuel, mail, tools, and construction supplies. It may wait for cargo space, the tide, or the wind to weaken. When the sea is calm enough, the boat leaves Koror and heads into open water. On board may be a teacher returning home, a relative carrying gifts, a mechanic bringing equipment, or a child who has spent months away at school. Hours later, the vessel reaches a community where one delayed delivery can affect an entire household. I find this journey more revealing than a drone shot. It shows that Palau is not held together by land. It is held together by repeated acts of coordination across water. A supply boat can be a grocery store, post office, fuel line, bus, and family reunion at the same time. When it arrives, it does more than deliver objects. It restores certainty, that same relationship between land, sea, and memory. Appears in food. A daily meal may include fish, rice, and taro. Taro is not simply a side dish. It has long supported food security, ceremony, land knowledge, and family labor. Fish may be dried, grilled, steamed, or served raw, depending on the catch and occasion. Traditional staples now share the table with noodles, sashimi, canned foods, and fast food, reflecting generations of contact with Japan, the Philippines, and the United States. Culture does not survive because nothing changes. It survives when people absorb change without losing the structure that tells them who they are. But food brings the story back to the reef. Every fish on a plate came from somewhere. Every lagoon has a limit. Every fishing ground can be harvested faster than it can recover. Long before sustainability became the language of international conferences, Palauan communities had a direct response to that problem. A bull can temporarily close an area or restrict the use of a resource. When community leaders believe fish are declining, a species needs time to reproduce, or harvesting has become excessive, they can declare that taking must stop. No fishing, no collecting, no exceptions simply because someone wants more today. There may be no fence across the water. There may be no camera watching every canoe. The strength of bull comes from something modern systems often struggle to create: shared knowledge of the rule, the reason, and the people who will suffer if it is ignored. In a small community, breaking the rule is not stealing from an abstract government. It may mean taking future food from a cousin, a neighbor, or a child not yet born. This is why I see bull as more than an old conservation practice. It makes the future socially present. Modern societies often treat restraint as a private virtue. Bull turns restraint into a public obligation. It says that access to nature is not an unlimited personal right. Access depends on whether the resource can survive continued use. That principle sounds admirable until it creates a real sacrifice. A closed reef can mean less food today. A protected species can mean lost income. A restriction becomes unpopular the moment it stops being symbolic. Yet conservation without sacrifice is usually just branding. Nature does not recover because people admire it. It recovers when pressure is reduced for long enough. The most surprising part of Palau's story is that this village-level logic did not remain in the village. Over time, the same idea moved outward. From a reef near one community to the waters of an entire nation. But applying an old rule of trust to hundreds of thousands of square miles would require more than tradition. It would require laws, patrols, international cooperation, and the willingness to give up money that could be earned immediately. That is where Palau's most ambitious experiment began. The experiment took a major step in 2009, when Palau declared its entire exclusive economic zone a shark sanctuary. Commercial shark fishing was prohibited across hundreds of thousands of square miles. On paper, the decision could be summarized in one sentence: stop killing sharks. At sea, nothing was that simple. Sharks move across enormous distances. Foreign fishing vessels can operate far beyond the horizon. A country with a small population cannot stand on every reef or patrol every mile of water. A law may be written in a government building. Enforcement happens in wind, darkness, courtrooms, and encounters with vessels carrying far more equipment than a small island nation can easily match. Palau needed surveillance, patrol capacity, regional cooperation, legal procedures, and the political will to seize equipment or prosecute violations. This is the first cost of saying no. A country must spend money to defend the thing it refuses to sell. Then Palau went further. In 2015, the country passed the Palau National Marine Sanctuary Act. After a transition period, the sanctuary took full effect on January 1st, 2020. The law designated 80% of Palau's exclusive economic zone as a no-take sanctuary, protected from fishing and other extractive activity. The remaining 20% was set aside as a domestic fishing zone intended to support local food security and create greater value for Palauan fishermen. That distinction matters. Palau did not declare that people should never take anything from the ocean. It attempted to draw a line between use and exhaustion. I do not see that as anti-growth. I see it as a different economic calculation. A fish caught today can be sold once. A healthy ocean can provide food, jobs, tourism, coastal protection, and cultural continuity for generations. The problem is timing. The profit from extraction arrives immediately. The value of protection is distributed slowly, often to people who did not make the original sacrifice. That is why long-term conservation is politically difficult. Almost everywhere, the people giving something up today are rarely the only people who benefit tomorrow. And the transition was not painless. Palau's own development plan acknowledges that the sanctuary took effect before a domestic pelagic fishing industry was fully developed. When foreign-owned longline vessels departed and air travel shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic, limited local capacity contributed to shortages of pelagic fish. That detail is important because it prevents this story from becoming a fairy tale. A bold environmental policy can be morally serious and still be operationally difficult. The domestic fishing zone recognizes that conservation must still feed people. Local fishermen need access. Families need affordable protein. Restaurants need seafood. A protected ocean that ignores daily survival will eventually lose public support. This is where national policy reconnects with bull. The rule is not that humans can never take from nature. The rule is that taking must remain inside a boundary. Nature can survive. But fishing vessels are not the only source of pressure. Visitors can damage a place without intending to. A swimmer stands on coral for a photograph. A diver chases an animal for a better video. A shell disappears into a bag. A small act seems harmless because the person performing it will leave tomorrow. Multiply that act by tens of thousands of visitors, and harmless behavior becomes a system. So Palau moved environmental responsibility to the border. In December 2017, Palau introduced the Palau Pledge, a passport pledge that arriving visitors sign as part of the entry process. The message is addressed not to a hotel, ministry, or tour company, but to the children of Palau. That choice is psychologically powerful. A regulation tells visitors what they cannot do. A promise to a child asks what kind of person they intend to be. The pledge asks travelers to respect the environment, avoid harming wildlife, and preserve the islands for the generations who will inherit them. It changes the role of the tourist. You are not simply a customer purchasing access. You are a temporary guest accepting responsibility. To me, this is where Palau challenges one of the most damaging ideas in modern travel. The belief that payment creates permission. Buy the flight, book the room, rent the boat, and for a few days, the destination feels as though it belongs to you. Palau rejects that transaction. Your money can bring you there. It does not give you ownership. The same principle appears in rules that took effect in 2020. Prohibiting reef-toxic sunscreens containing listed ingredients from being brought into, manufactured, distributed, or sold in Palau. One bottle carried by one swimmer seems insignificant. Thousands of swimmers entering sensitive water year after year are not insignificant. Environmental damage rarely begins with a villain making one dramatic decision. It often begins with ordinary people repeating ordinary behavior at a scale the ecosystem cannot absorb. And yet, after all these limits, Palau faces a threat it cannot stop at its border. It can restrict fishing. It can regulate tourism. It can protect sharks. It cannot control the temperature of the Pacific Ocean. Warmer water can cause corals to expel the algae that provide much of their energy. If heat stress lasts too long, reefs weaken or die. When coral is lost, the damage does not stay underwater. Fish lose habitat. Coastlines lose part of their natural protection from waves. Dive operators lose the living world people traveled to see. Families can lose food, income, and security. A coral reef is not scenery surrounding an island economy. It is part of the economy's foundation. Low islands face another form of exposure. Rising seas, coastal erosion, storm surge, and saltwater intrusion can threaten homes, roads, gardens, and freshwater supplies. On Kayangel, the distance between a family home and the ocean may be measured in steps. That creates a painful inequality. Palau can protect most of its marine territory and still suffer from emissions produced largely beyond its borders. Its people can follow strict rules and still inherit consequences created elsewhere. This does not mean local action is pointless. It means local action is necessary and insufficient on its own. No island nation can solve a planetary problem alone. Palau also faces pressures that climate policy cannot solve. Its small economy offers limited career paths. The Compact of Free Association gives eligible citizens access to education and employment in the United States. For a young Palauan, leaving may be the smartest personal choice. For the country, every departure can mean losing a future nurse, teacher, engineer, mechanic, entrepreneur, or community leader. Tourism creates jobs, but it also creates dependence. More visitors can mean more income, along with more waste, water use, boat traffic, and pressure on the places they came to experience. This is why sustainable tourism cannot be just a phrase printed in green letters. It requires uncomfortable questions. How many visitors can a site handle? Who receives the income? Who pays for the waste? What behavior should be restricted? And should access become more expensive if lower visitor numbers are necessary to protect the place? Palau does not have perfect answers. That is not why its story matters. Its importance comes from asking those questions before every answer becomes an emergency. The deeper lesson is not that every country should copy every Palauan rule. Different places have different economies, ecosystems, and needs. The lesson is that restraint can be designed. It can be built into traditions, fishing zones, immigration procedures, tourism rules, and national identity. It can be taught as responsibility, not only enforced as punishment. And it can begin before visible collapse. We often define sovereignty as the power to control what enters a country. Palau offers another definition. Sovereignty is also the power to control what leaves. The fish removed from the sea, the coral broken from a reef, the natural wealth converted into short-term profit. We also define prosperity by addition. More hotels, more visitors, more extraction, more consumption. Palau asks whether prosperity can also be measured by what remains. A living reef 20 years from now. Fish for a child not yet born. An island community that can still recognize itself after the world discovers it. That does not make Palau a perfect paradise. It makes the country something more useful. A living test of whether a modern society can recognize enough before nature is forced to make that decision for it. And now I want to ask you the same question. Should a country limit tourism and resource extraction before visible damage appears, even if that means giving up jobs and income today? Tell me where you would draw the line in the comments. If you believe the world's smallest places can teach us its biggest lessons, subscribe to the channel and join us for the next journey. Because the most important stories on Earth are not always found in the largest nations. Sometimes they survive because the smallest ones were brave enough to say, "Enough."